Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you a question. What separates the successful from the rest? Is it talent? Luck? Timing? Maybe. But let me tell you something, those things are fleeting. Talent can be outworked. Luck runs out. Timing? Timing is nothing without preparation. The truth is, success comes down to habits. Quiet, daily habits that nobody claps for, but make all the difference. Highly successful people, they don't wait for the world to give them a green light. They don't hope for opportunity to knock. No, they build their own doors, and when opportunity doesn't come knocking, they kick those doors open. The first secret habit is this: they start with a vision. Think about it. Every skyscraper starts with a blueprint. Every masterpiece begins in the mind of the artist. Successful people have clarity about where they're going. They're not wandering through life hoping for the best. They set their sights on a goal, and they move toward it like a heat-seeking missile. Now, a vision without action is just a dream. But action takes discipline. And that's the second habit. They show up every day, rain or shine, tired or energized, motivated or not, they show up. You see, motivation is like a spark. It's exciting, but it fades. Discipline, that's the firewood. That's what keeps the flame burning. While most people wait to feel ready, successful people take action anyway. They know there's power in consistency. They know that the small things done repeatedly become the big things. Brick by brick, they lay the foundation for their future. Here's another thing they do: they learn. Oh, they're learners, all right. Not just from books or classrooms, but from life itself. They're students of their craft, students of the world, and most importantly, students of their failures. They don't see mistakes as something to fear. They see them as opportunities to grow. Have you ever met someone who stops learning? Someone who thinks they already know it all? That's where stagnation lives. But successful people, they're like sponges. They soak up knowledge, always asking, what's the lesson here? How can I be better tomorrow than I was today? Now, let me tell you something. Most people overlook gratitude. Yes, gratitude, you might not think it matters, but it does. Successful people are grateful not just for the big wins, but for the tough times, the failures, the setbacks, because they know every obstacle has a lesson. Every no has a purpose. Gratitude keeps them humble, keeps them grounded, and reminds them of how far they've come. And let me tell you this, they fail. Oh, they fail a lot. But here's the difference: they don't let failure define them. They don't let it stop them. They use failure as fuel. You see, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of success. It's the rough draft before the masterpiece. When successful people fall, they don't stay down. They ask themselves, what now? What's the next step? How do I rise stronger than before? They don't waste time complaining about what went wrong. They channel that energy into making things right. But here's a big one: they choose their circle carefully. You show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Successful people know the power of their environment. They surround themselves with people who lift them up, challenge them, and hold them accountable. You won't find them wasting time with negativity or toxic energy. No, their circle is tight, full of people who inspire them to be better, to think bigger, to push harder. And if that means cutting off relationships that hold them back, they do it. Because they know their time and energy are too valuable to waste. And finally, the greatest habit of all: they serve. Yes, serve. You see, success isn't just about what you can achieve, it's about what you can give. The most successful people don't just focus on themselves, they think about their legacy. They think about the impact they're making on others. They ask, what am I leaving behind? How am I changing the world? Even in a small way, they understand that true greatness isn't measured by how much they've accumulated, but by how much they've contributed. So, what does this mean for you? It means success is within your reach. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter what resources you have or don't have. What matters is your habits. What matters is your choices. Let me leave you with this. What's your vision? What's that dream that scares you, that keeps you up at night? What's the legacy you want to leave behind? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the stars to align. Start now. Build the habits, show up, learn, be grateful, fail and get back up. Choose your circle. Serve others. Because success isn't about luck. It's about preparation. It's about perseverance. And it's about purpose. Let me ask you this. What do you see when you close your eyes and imagine your future? Not the vague ideas, not the safe, small thoughts, but the big, bold picture that scares you and excites you all at once? That's where success begins, with a vision. It's not just about setting goals or having dreams, it's about seeing a life so vividly that it feels real before it even happens. Highly successful people don't stumble their way into greatness. They don't wake up one day and suddenly find themselves at the top of the mountain. No, they start by envisioning the peak long before they begin the climb. They see the finish line in their minds, crystal clear, and they map their way there step by step. That vision becomes their North Star, guiding them through every storm, every obstacle, and every moment of doubt. But having a vision isn't just about knowing where you want to go. It's about committing to it. It's about owning it, believing in it so deeply that even when others can't see it, even when the world says it's impossible, you keep going. Because let me tell you something, the most extraordinary achievements often look ridiculous in the beginning. The Wright brothers envisioned flight when people thought it was absurd. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that seemed unattainable in his time. These were visions born out of courage, not convenience. A vision gives your life direction. Without it, you're like a ship adrift at sea, tossed around by every wave, going wherever the wind takes you. But when you have a vision, you set your course. You take control. You decide where you're going and why it matters. And that's powerful. Because a clear vision doesn't just inspire you, it aligns your actions. It keeps you focused, cutting through the noise of distractions and doubts. Think about this. Successful people don't just stumble into the right opportunities. They create them. And they do that by having a vision so strong that it attracts what they need. People notice those with purpose. They gravitate toward individuals who carry themselves with clarity and confidence. When you have a vision, you become magnetic. You draw in the resources, the relationships, and the support you need to make it a reality. Now, let me warn you, having a vision isn't easy. It requires work. It requires faith. And it requires patience. There will be days when the path forward feels uncertain, when progress feels slow, and when doubt starts whispering in your ear. That's when your vision becomes your anchor. It reminds you why you started. It pulls you back to your purpose. But a vision isn't static. It evolves. It grows as you grow. You might start with one idea of success, but as you journey forward, that vision deepens and expands. Successful people embrace that evolution. They're not afraid to dream bigger as they gain momentum. They understand that each milestone reached is just a step towards something greater. You must also remember this: a vision is personal, it's yours. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. Don't waste time seeking validation for your dream. Some people won't see it because it's not their vision to see. That's okay. Keep it close, protect it, and let your actions do the talking. When you start with a vision, you plant the seed of possibility. But planting isn't enough, you have to nurture it. You have to water it every single day with action, belief, and effort. A vision without work is just a fantasy. But when you combine vision with determination, it becomes unstoppable. So I ask you, what's your vision? What do you see for yourself that's so powerful, so electrifying? It won't let you rest until you chase it. Don't limit yourself to what's easy or what seems realistic. Dream big, dream boldly, and then start building. Because that vision, It's not just a glimpse of what could be, it's a promise of what will be if you're willing to do the work. Let me tell you something that separates those who succeed from those who fall short. Consistency. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, but it's the bedrock of achievement. Most people get caught up in waiting for motivation to strike. They wait for that perfect moment when the stars align, the energy feels right, and they're ready to take on the world. But let me tell you the truth, motivation is fickle. It's unreliable. It's like a summer breeze. It comes and goes, and you can't build anything lasting on something so temporary. Successful people don't rely on motivation. They know that feelings are fleeting. Some days you wake up ready to conquer the world, and other days you wake up not feeling like doing much at all. But that doesn't matter to them. They've built a habit of showing up no matter what. Rain or shine, good day or bad day, they show up and do the work. Consistency is what keeps the gears turning when motivation runs out. Think of it like this: motivation is like the spark that starts a fire, but consistency is the wood that keeps it burning. Without consistency, the fire dies out. You can have all the excitement and energy in the world at the beginning, but if you don't have the discipline to keep going, you'll never get far. Here's the thing: consistency isn't about perfection. It's not about never missing a day or never making a mistake. It's about getting back on track, no matter how many times you stumble. Successful people aren't perfect, they're persistent. When they fall, they don't give up. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad year. They dust themselves off and get back to the work, because they know that success is about accumulation. It's the little things done over and over that lead to greatness. Think about athletes training for a marathon. They don't wake up one morning and decide to run 26 miles without preparation. No, they train every day. They run a little farther, a little faster, building their endurance bit by bit. Some days their legs feel like lead. Some days the weather is against them. But they run anyway. That's consistency. Now apply that to anything in life, whether it's building a career, learning a skill, or chasing a dream. It's not about how hard you work on the good days, it's about how committed you are on the hard days. The days when no one is watching. The days when progress feels slow. The days when quitting seems easier. Those are the moments that define your future. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you show up, you prove to yourself that you're reliable, that you can count on yourself to follow through. That trust is powerful. It builds confidence. It creates momentum. And momentum is what turns small efforts into massive results over time. Let me tell you, a secret: success isn't about intensity. It's about longevity. Anyone can work hard for a week, maybe even a month. But can you keep going for a year, 5 years, 10 years? The most successful people don't sprint toward their goals, they pace themselves for the marathon. They understand that slow and steady progress beats bursts of inspiration every time. But let's not sugarcoat it: consistency is hard. It requires discipline. It requires showing up when you don't feel like it, when no one is cheering you on, and when the results aren't immediate. It's not exciting, but it works. And that's what matters. So how do you stay consistent? By creating systems. Successful people don't leave their progress up to chance. They set routines, they schedule their time, and they remove distractions. They make it easier to stay on track by building habits that align with their goals. They don't wait to feel inspired, they create an environment where consistency becomes second nature. At the end of the day, consistency beats motivation because it's dependable. It's the steady drumbeat that carries you forward, even when the music fades. So ask yourself, are you showing up every day for your dream? Are you putting in the work, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching? Remember this: it's not what you do once in a while that changes your life, it's what you do day in and day out. Success isn't built on moments of inspiration, it's built on the quiet, relentless grind of consistency. Let's talk about one of the most defining traits of highly successful people. They never stop learning. It doesn't matter how much they've achieved, how many accolades they've earned, or how far they've come. They remain students of life, always eager to grow, adapt, and evolve. Lifelong learning is not just a habit for them, it's a mindset, a way of approaching the world with curiosity and humility. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start falling behind. The world is constantly changing, industries evolve, new technologies emerge, and challenges shift. Successful people understand this. They know that what got them here won't necessarily get them there. So they commit themselves to constant growth. They don't see learning as something you do for a degree or a promotion. They see it as a lifelong pursuit, something woven into the fabric of their daily lives. Learning doesn't always come from formal education. Sure, degrees and certifications have their place, but real learning happens everywhere. Successful people learn from books, yes, but they also learn from people, from experiences, and from failures. They have a hunger for knowledge, a willingness to ask questions, and an openness to new ideas. They're not afraid to admit what they don't know, because they see gaps in their knowledge not as weaknesses, but as opportunities to improve. Think about the most successful people in any field. They're readers, listeners, and observers. They're the ones who seek out mentors, who ask for advice, who listen more than they speak. They understand that everyone they meet has something to teach them, no matter their status or title. They learn from conversations, from watching others, and from reflecting on their own actions. And let's not forget about failure. For successful people, failure isn't a dead end, it's a classroom. They don't fear mistakes, they embrace them as part of the process. When something goes wrong, they don't waste time beating themselves up or blaming others. Instead, they ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? They see every setback as a stepping stone, every loss as a lesson. This willingness to learn from failure requires humility, and humility is a cornerstone of lifelong learning. It takes humility to admit that you don't have all the answers, that there's always room for improvement, that you're not as skilled or knowledgeable as you could be. But it's also incredibly freeing, because once you accept that you don't know everything, the whole world becomes your teacher. Successful people also know that learning isn't just about acquiring new skills or knowledge, it's about unlearning too. Sometimes they have to let go of old habits, outdated beliefs, or ways of thinking that no longer serve them. This takes courage. It's not easy to question the things you've always taken for granted, but it's necessary if you want to keep growing. Now, here's the thing about lifelong learning. It's not just about expanding your mind, it's about adapting to change. The world moves fast, and if you're not willing to learn, you'll get left behind. Look at the most successful entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders. They're not just good at what they do, they're constantly reinventing themselves, staying ahead of the curve, and finding new ways to create value. But lifelong learning isn't just about external success, it's also about inner fulfillment. There's something deeply satisfying about the process of growth, about becoming better today than you were yesterday. Learning keeps life interesting. It keeps you curious, engaged, and excited about what's possible. To truly embrace lifelong learning, you have to make it a habit. It's not something you do occasionally, it's something you weave into your daily routine. Read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, seek out people who challenge you, who make you think differently, who inspire you to be better. Reflect on your experiences and always ask, what can I learn from this? And don't limit yourself to one area of expertise. Successful people understand the power of cross-disciplinary learning. A musician can learn from a scientist. A scientist can learn from an artist. The more you expand your horizons, the more creative and innovative you become. At the end of the day, lifelong learning is about staying curious. It's about asking questions, seeking answers, and never settling for what you already know. It's about understanding that the journey is never over, that there's always more to discover, more to achieve, and more to become. So I ask you, are you committed to learning? not just for a season, but for a lifetime? Because if you are, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Keep learning, keep growing, and watch how far it can take you. Gratitude is a force, a quiet yet transformative power that can shake the way you see the world and how the world responds to you. It's more than just saying thank you or appreciating the good things in life. It's a mindset, a perspective that shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, from scarcity to abundance. Highly successful people understand this power, and they weave gratitude into their daily lives, not as an afterthought, but as a foundation. Gratitude begins with acknowledgement. It's about recognizing the gifts, opportunities, and even the challenges that have brought you to where you are. It's easy to be grateful for the big wins, the moments of triumph, the times when everything goes your way. But successful people go deeper. They find gratitude in the struggles, the setbacks, and the failures, knowing these moments carry lessons that are just as valuable as success. They understand that gratitude isn't conditional, it's a practice of seeing the good, even when life feels difficult. When you practice gratitude, something incredible happens. Your perspective changes. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you begin to see what you have. Instead of dwelling on problems, you notice possibilities. Gratitude doesn't eliminate challenges, but it equips you to face them with a stronger heart and a clearer mind. It reminds you that no matter how hard things get, there's always something to be thankful for, an opportunity to learn, a chance to grow, or simply the fact that you're still standing. Gratitude also fosters humility. When you acknowledge the people, experiences, and circumstances that have contributed to your journey, you realize you didn't get here alone. Every successful person knows they stand on the shoulders of others, mentors, friends, family, colleagues who have supported them, guided them, and believed in them. Gratitude keeps you grounded, reminding you that success is never a solo act. But it's not just about looking back. Gratitude propels you forward. When you approach life with a grateful heart, you cultivate an attitude of abundance. You stop clinging to what you have out of fear of losing it, and you start giving freely, knowing that the more you give, the more you give, the more you receive. Gratitude creates a positive feedback loop. The more you appreciate, the more you attract things to be grateful for. Gratitude also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable, and no one is immune to hardship. But when you practice gratitude, you develop the ability to find light even in the darkest moments. You train your mind to focus on what's working instead of what's broken, on what's possible instead of what's lost. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means acknowledging the difficulty while also choosing to see the beauty that exists alongside it. In relationships, gratitude is a game changer. Think about it. How often do we take the people in our lives for granted? Successful people make it a point to express gratitude not just in their thoughts, but in their actions. They thank their teams, their families, their friends. They recognize effort, celebrate contributions, and make people feel seen and valued. Gratitude strengthens connections, builds trust, and inspires loyalty. When you make others feel appreciated, they're more likely to support you, collaborate with you, and cheer for your success. Gratitude isn't just good for your soul, it's good for your health. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly experience less stress, better sleep, and improved mental well-being. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you reduce anxiety and create space for positivity. It's like training your brain to look for the good, which makes it easier to find joy and satisfaction in everyday life. But let me tell you something about gratitude. It's a choice. It's not something that just happens to you, it's something you cultivate. It's easy to be grateful when everything is going well, but true gratitude shows its power when life gets tough. It's a conscious decision to say, even in this moment, even in this challenge, I can find something to be thankful for. Gratitude doesn't mean settling or being complacent. It doesn't mean you stop striving for more or pushing yourself to achieve your goals. On the contrary, gratitude fuels ambition. When you're grateful for what you have, you approach your goals with a sense of purpose and positivity rather than fear or desperation. You work from a place of love for what you do, not just a desire to prove yourself. So how do you practice gratitude? You start small. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. Write it down. Say it out loud. Share it with someone. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's the support of a loved one, the lesson from a difficult experience, or even just the fact that you woke up this morning with the chance to try again. Gratitude isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to focus on what lifts you up. It's about seeing the blessings in your life and recognizing that no matter how far you've come or how far you have to go, there is always something worth celebrating. And when you live with gratitude, you don't just change your perspective, you change your life. Resilience is the armor of the soul, the ability to keep moving forward when the world seems to push back at every turn. And failure? It's not the enemy, it's the teacher. Together, resilience and failure form the foundation on which success is built. Because let's be honest, no great achievement has ever come without its share of setbacks. Failure is inevitable, but it's not final. Every person who has reached the heights of success has failed often, repeatedly, and sometimes spectacularly. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up isn't that successful people avoid failure. It's that they refuse to let failure define them. They see it not as the end of the road, but as a detour, a necessary stop along the way to greatness. Resilience is what keeps you going when the detour feels long and the path forward seems uncertain. It's the inner strength to rise after every fall, to try again when the odds seem stacked against you. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain of failure. It means you don't let that pain stop you. You acknowledge it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. Think about the greatest stories of triumph. They're not tales of smooth sailing or easy victories. They're stories of people who faced immense challenges, people who fell and kept rising, people who turned their failures into stepping stones. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's resilience in action, a refusal to let failure be the last chapter. Failure teaches you more than success ever could. When you fail, you're forced to confront your weaknesses, to see where you went wrong, and to adapt. It's in those moments of reflection that growth happens. Failure pushes you to innovate, to think differently, to try harder. It builds character, sharpens your skills, and strengthens your resolve. But resilience doesn't just happen. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Every time you face a setback and choose to keep going, you build resilience. Every time you fail and learn from it, you prepare yourself for the next challenge. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about becoming unshakable. One of the hardest parts of failure is the fear and shame that often come with it. Society doesn't always celebrate failure. It can feel like a mark of inadequacy, a reason to doubt yourself. But successful people understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of your effort. It means you tried. It means you took a risk. It means you stepped out of your comfort zone. And those are the very things that lead to growth. Resilience also requires perspective. When you fail, it's easy to get caught up in the moment, to feel like everything is falling apart. But resilience is about stepping back and seeing the bigger picture. It's about reminding yourself that failure is temporary, that it's a chapter in your story, not the entire book. It's about focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. It's not enough to recover from failure, you have to use it to propel yourself toward your goals. That means taking the lessons you've learned and applying them. It means staying open to feedback, staying flexible in your approach, and staying committed to your vision. But let's not sugarcoat it, resilience is hard. It's hard to keep going when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when the road ahead feels impossibly long. That's why resilience is also about having the right mindset. It's about believing that you're capable, that you're worthy, that you're stronger than any challenge you face. It's about cultivating an inner voice that says, "This is tough, but I can handle it. I've been through worse, and I'll get through this too." Resilience is not something you have to face alone. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who remind you of your strength, who help you see the possibilities when you're blinded by setbacks. Build a network of support friends, mentors, colleagues who encourage you to keep going, even when the going gets tough. At the heart of resilience is hope, the belief that tomorrow holds the possibility of something better. It's that glimmer of hope that keeps you moving even when today feels overwhelming. Successful people hold on to that hope, not because they're naive, but because they know that every failure brings them one step closer to success. So the next time you face a failure, remember this: it's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to start again, wiser and stronger than before. Resilience and failure are not your enemies, they're your greatest allies. Embrace them, learn from them, and let them guide you to heights you never thought possible. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your journey. They can either lift you up or pull you down, inspire you to greatness or hold you back from your potential. Successful people understand this truth, and they're deliberate about who they let into their inner circle. They know that the company they keep shapes their thoughts, their habits, and ultimately their destiny. Think about it, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their energy, their attitudes, their ambitions, and even their limitations have a way of influencing you, often more than you realize. If you surround yourself with people who are constantly complaining, who see obstacles instead of opportunities, who settle for mediocrity, that mindset can seep into your own life. But when you're surrounded by people who challenge you, encourage you, and push you to do better, you rise to meet their expectations. Successful people don't just look for company, they look for alignment. They seek out individuals who share their values, who have a similar drive, and who bring out the best in them. They don't settle for negativity or toxicity, no matter how long they've known someone or how comfortable the relationship might be. They understand that their time and energy are too valuable to waste on people who don't support their growth. It's not just about cutting out negativity, it's about filling your life with positivity. Surround yourself with mentors who can guide you, peers who inspire you, and friends who cheer for your success. Find people who are ahead of you in some areas, people whose wisdom and experience you can learn from. Be humble enough to listen to their advice and courageous enough to ask for their help. At the same time, look for people who are walking the same path as you, who understand your struggles, and who can celebrate your victories because they're striving for something similar. Surrounding yourself wisely doesn't mean you're always looking for people to help you. It's a two-way street. Be someone who uplifts others, who supports their dreams, who adds value to their lives. Successful people know that relationships thrive on mutual respect and reciprocity. They give as much as they take, sometimes more, because they understand the power of building genuine connections. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean you need a massive network of people. Quality matters far more than quantity. A small circle of supportive, inspiring, and trustworthy individuals is worth more than a crowd of acquaintances who don't have your best interests at heart. Successful people prioritize depth over breadth in their relationships, focusing on those who truly matter. There's also a powerful lesson in being mindful about who you let influence your thoughts. Words are powerful, and the opinions of those around you can shape how you see yourself and your goals. Be cautious of people who belittle your dreams, who tell you what you can't do, or who constantly doubt your potential. Their negativity can create self-doubt, and that doubt can be crippling. Instead, surround yourself with people who believe in you, who remind you of your strengths, and who push you to aim higher. Sometimes surrounding yourself wisely means making tough decisions. It might mean distancing yourself from people who drain your energy or hold you back, even if those relationships are long-standing. It's not about being unkind, it's about protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Successful people understand that their growth sometimes requires pruning to let go of what no longer serves them to make room for what does. And don't underestimate the importance of diverse perspectives. Successful people surround themselves with individuals who challenge their thinking, who offer new ideas, and who broaden their horizons. They don't seek out echo chambers or people who only agree with them. They value constructive criticism and different viewpoints because they know it sharpens their thinking and helps them grow. Finally, remember that surrounding yourself wisely is also about self-awareness. You attract what you project. If you want to be surrounded by ambitious, positive, and inspiring people, you need to embody those qualities yourself. Be the kind of person others want to be around. Bring energy, optimism, and value to the relationships in your life, and you'll naturally draw like-minded individuals to you. The people you surround yourself with are your ecosystem. They either nurture your growth or stifle it. So choose wisely. Build a circle that lifts you, supports you, and challenges you to be the best version of yourself. Because with the right people by your side, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Service and legacy are the cornerstones of a meaningful and impactful life. Truly successful people understand that their achievements are not just about personal gain or accolades, they're about making a difference, about using their success to uplift others and leave the world better than they found it. This mindset transforms success from something fleeting into something enduring, a legacy that continues to inspire long after they're gone. Service begins with the realization that life is not just about you. It's about the contributions you make to others, the ways you use your talents, time, and resources to create positive change. Successful people don't hoard their success, they share it. They understand that true fulfillment comes not from what you get, but from what you give. Whether it's mentoring someone, giving back to their community, or supporting a cause they care about, they prioritize service as a fundamental part of their lives. When you serve others, you create ripples of impact that extend far beyond what you can see. A single act of kindness, a word of encouragement, or a helping hand can change someone's life, and that person can go on to influence others. Successful people recognize this power and use it deliberately. They don't just aim to make an impact, they aim to create a chain reaction of positivity and progress. Service and legacy are deeply connected. When you focus on serving others, you naturally build a legacy worth remembering. It's not about striving to be famous or chasing immortality. It's about making your time here meaningful, about creating something that outlives you. Successful people find purpose in this, knowing that their contributions to others add depth and significance to their own lives. But service doesn't always have to be grand. It's not just about starting charities or changing the world on a massive scale. It can be as simple as showing kindness in your everyday interactions. Service is about showing up for people, being present, and making their lives better in whatever way you can. It's about leaving people and places better than you found them, no matter the scale. Building a legacy also means standing for something. It's about living your values and letting those values guide your actions. Successful people are clear about what they believe in and work to align their lives with those principles. They understand that their legacy is shaped not just by what they accomplish, but by how they accomplish it, by the integrity, compassion, and courage they bring to their work and relationships. Service and legacy also require a long-term mindset. They demand patience and perseverance because the most meaningful contributions often take time. Successful people are willing to invest in causes, relationships, and ideas that may not yield immediate results but have the potential for lasting impact. They're not just looking for quick wins, they're looking to create something enduring. Service and legacy are not about perfection, they're about intention. Successful people don't wait until they've reached a certain level of wealth or influence to start giving back. They understand that every person, no matter their circumstances, has something to offer. They start where they are with what they have and trust that even small acts of service can create meaningful change. At the heart of service and legacy is the recognition that we're all connected. Your success is not just yours. So ask yourself, how are you serving others? What legacy are you building? These are the questions that turn success into significance, that transform a life of accomplishment into a life of purpose. Service and legacy are not the end goals, they are the journey, the path that leads to a life well lived. And when you embrace them, you don't just change the world, you change yourself. Thank you.